If you're tired of watching your salary come in and disappear in a few days, as if someone had pulled everything from your account without you noticing, you need to start applying a simple but powerful rule. Pay yourself first. This means that the exact moment the money hits your account, before any bill, card, or purchase of the month, you separate an amount, even if small, and send it directly to an investment. It doesn't matter if it's little. What's important is to create the habit. As long as you keep paying everyone else first and leaving yourself for last, you'll remain trapped in the rat race, always chasing your own money without seeing progress. But when you put yourself first and separate 5%, 10%, or whatever amount you can manage, your mind begins to understand that your future has priority. In just 60 days, this attitude changes your discipline, your vision about money, and opens the path to finally break free from this routine that's held you back for years. When you pay yourself first, something very important happens. You begin to take control of your financial life. Most people live putting out fires, paying bills and solving urgencies, and only then try to save what's left. But there's never anything left. That's precisely why so many remain in the rat race for years, even working hard every day. The truth is, the world will always have an unexpected bill, a new expense, something that needs to be paid urgently. If you always wait for the ideal moment to start investing in yourself, that moment will never come. That's why Kiyosaki insists so much on this rule. It's you first, always, and it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to start with a high amount. You can start with something symbolic, almost too small to notice. But you know what happens? In the first month, it seems like little. In the second, it seems natural. In the third, you begin to feel proud of yourself. And when you realize it, creating this automatic reserve has become part of your financial identity. Another important thing, when you pay yourself first, you change your way of seeing the rest of the money. Instead of thinking, I can't invest, you start thinking, how can I adjust my expenses to keep investing? It's a subtle change, but profound. You stop being someone who lives to pay bills and become someone who builds wealth, even if little by little. And that's what begins to pull you out of the rat race. It's not winning the lottery. It's not waiting for a raise. It's a small decision repeated every month that in 60 days already shows results. You start looking at your salary with another purpose, not as something that disappears, but as a tool to build the life you deserve. Most people work the entire month to earn money and spend it all on things that take more money out of their pocket. This is exactly what Kiyosaki calls liabilities. And maybe you don't even realize it, but every month your salary is being consumed by small decisions that only leave you more trapped in the rat race. Now imagine if, starting today, you began to take a part of your salary and transform it into something that puts money back in your pocket. This is an asset, and you don't need to think of something big. It can be a book that improves your skills, a simple course that teaches you to earn more, a digital asset that generates income, a stock that pays dividends, or even a cheap product to start a micro-income source at home. When you change this direction, you go from consumer to builder. Instead of spending to satisfy the moment, you invest to strengthen your future. And believe me, this makes an enormous difference, because liabilities give quick pleasure and long regret. Assets do the opposite. They demand discipline at the beginning, but give you freedom afterward. In 2 months, this mindset already begins to transform the way you see your own money. You begin to understand that salary wasn't made just to pay bills, but to open doors. And that's when you start building something real, something that grows. And when you realize you can multiply a part of your salary, even if small, you never look at money the same way again. And before moving to the next step, do something important now. Like this video and comment below. I'm going to turn the key. If you really believe you can change your financial life starting today, This shows you're committed and ready to leave the rat race. When you start transforming part of your salary into assets, something powerful happens. You stop working just for money and start making money work for you. This is the turnaround that many people never make because they spend their entire lives believing that earning a salary is enough to grow. But it's not. Those who grow use salary as a tool, not as an endpoint. And maybe you think you need a lot of money to start. You don't. A small amount invested with consistency already changes the game. What matters is the mindset. Because when you buy a liability, you only get a moment of pleasure. But when you buy an asset, you buy time, freedom, and possibilities. Another important point is that assets are not only traditional investments. An asset can be something you learn to use to generate income, like a new skill. It can be a tool that allows you to offer a service and earn extra. It can be a simple idea put into practice. Kiyosaki always repeated that assets are things that put money in your life, and this can come in various forms as long as you're willing to create. And the more you put energy into assets, the more your mind begins to see opportunities. You start to notice that every month can be better than the previous one. You start to feel that you're building something, and this gives a sense of progress that no momentary purchase can give. In 2 months, you won't be rich, but you'll be on the right path. You'll have the feeling that your money finally started working alongside you and not against you. And this, for those who have lived for years trapped in the rat race, is already a gigantic change. If you live in the rat race, there's a much bigger reason than you imagine: the lack of an emergency fund. Without this small reserve, you're vulnerable to any unexpected event. The car just needs to break down, an unexpected bill to appear, or a family member to ask for help, and suddenly all your planning goes down the drain. Kiyosaki always explains that freedom doesn't begin when you become rich, but when you gain security. Because security gives stability, and stability allows thinking about the future. When you don't have an emergency fund, your salary becomes a fire extinguisher. It doesn't build anything, it only puts out problems. Now imagine separating for just 2 months a fixed amount, it doesn't matter if it's little, to form this reserve. It can be $20, $50, $100. What matters is the habit. With each deposit, you send a powerful message to yourself: I'm taking control. And you know what happens when this habit forms? Financial anxiety decreases. You stop feeling afraid of any unexpected event. You stop depending on loans, favors, and debts. Instead, you start having your own base, your own protection, and this completely changes the way you deal with money. In 2 months, you won't have a large reserve, but you'll have a different mind. You'll feel that you're no longer at the mercy of any emergency. You'll realize that, for the first time, there's a layer of security between you and financial chaos. And it's precisely this security that opens the mental space for you to grow. Those who are always worried about today can never build tomorrow. That's why the emergency fund isn't just saved money, it's emotional freedom, clarity, balance, and strength. Having an emergency fund also changes the way you make decisions. When you don't have any reserve, any offer seems good, any expense seems urgent, any situation becomes a reason for anxiety. You live reacting. But when you start building your reserve, even if small, you begin to act with more calm and awareness. You think before spending, evaluate before buying, and decide before despairing. It's as if you finally had space to breathe. Another thing almost no one notices is that an emergency fund protects you from yourself. How many times have you made impulsive decisions because you were pressured by the moment? When a reserve exists, you reduce impulsivity and increase clarity. You stop accepting any job, any proposal, any condition just to solve an immediate problem. This allows you to think long-term, something fundamental for those trying to leave the rat race. And the most important thing is to understand that this fund doesn't need to be big to start making a difference. It just needs to exist. The first month is difficult because you're starting something new. The second month already gets lighter. And in the third, you realize that habit has become part of who you are. This creates discipline, focus, and a sense of constant evolution. With this reserve, you also begin to break an old cycle, the cycle of dependence. Dependence on favors, dependence on cards, dependence on loans. With a simple reserve, you drastically reduce the chance of going into debt, and that alone is already a huge step toward freedom. And maybe you think it's little to save a small amount in these first 2 months, but that's how every process begins. Small, constant, and intentional. What traps you in the rat race isn't earning little, it's having no protection at all. And what frees you isn't earning a lot, it's knowing how to build a foundation. There's a hard truth, but necessary. You don't stay trapped in the rat race just because you earn little, but because you spend on things that don't bring you closer to financial freedom. And when you start analyzing your money with honesty, you realize that a good part of what consumes your salary brings no return at all. Cutting 20% of expenses that add nothing to your life is like discovering a hidden salary inside your own. It's like finding money that was always yours, but was going away without you noticing. And this cut doesn't need to be painful. It needs to be intelligent. Start observing everything you buy on impulse, everything you maintain by habit, and everything you pay without even remembering why. Small purchases, subscriptions you don't use, automatic trips to delivery, that just today that happens 5 times a week. It's these small decisions that keep you trapped. When you cut these expenses, you're not taking something from your life. You're giving power back to yourself. Because every dollar that goes out without bringing return weakens you. And every dollar that stays in your pocket strengthens you. And it's not about living a life without pleasure or comfort. It's not about becoming a monk. It's about being strategic. It's about looking at each expense and asking, does this bring me closer or take me further from the life I want to build? In the first days, you might even feel you're limiting yourself. But over time, you realize you're freeing yourself. Because every dollar you stop spending on something useless transforms into opportunity, security, and growth. And in 2 months, this intelligent cut not only improves your finances, but changes your perception about money. If you live with the feeling of working more and more and earning practically the same thing, there's a simple reason. Your income is stuck at the same skill level you have today. And this is where one of Kiyosaki's most valuable pieces of advice comes in. Use part of your salary to learn something that increases your value in the market. When you invest in a new skill, you stop depending only on your time and start depending on your knowledge. This changes everything, because the right knowledge, applied the right way, pays much more than hours of work. And the best part, it stays with you forever. It can be something simple, like learning to sell better. It can be something practical, like digital marketing, finance, technology, management, content creation, communication, negotiation. It can even be a small skill, but one that puts you at a level above other people competing for the same space as you. And you don't need to think of expensive or long courses. Often a basic course, a short training, the right book, or even a well-chosen video already lights a spark that transforms your professional life. When you start dedicating part of your salary to learning something new, you're sending a powerful message to your mind. I want to grow. I want to be worth more. I want to change my reality. And in a short time, opportunities begin to emerge. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. In 2 months, you may not have become an expert yet, but you'll notice your mindset has already begun to expand. You'll feel more prepared, more confident, and more capable of seeking something better. And that's exactly what opens doors to higher salaries, new income sources, and possibilities you couldn't even see before. If there's something that separates those in the rat race from those building financial freedom, It's this: those who are trapped depend exclusively on their own work. Those who are growing also depend on something that works for them, even when they're resting. This is passive income, and the most interesting thing is you don't need to start with large investments. Two simple options already change your vision: Treasury Direct and real estate funds. They're accessible, allow you to start with little and make your money grow silently. Stocks that pay dividends and digital assets also enter this group. The goal isn't to get rich in 2 months, but to awaken in you a new perception. There's a way to earn money that doesn't require your constant effort. And this perception changes everything. Because when you see the first earnings dropping into your account, even if it's pennies, something inside you transforms. You realize there's a path outside the rat race, and this brings a feeling of relief. You understand you don't need to work until the last day of your life to support yourself. Just knowing that money is growing while you sleep, even if slowly, already creates hope, motivation, and focus. You start thinking more like an investor than a survivor. And in just 2 months, what changes isn't the invested amount, but the mindset. You stop seeing salary as something that disappears and start seeing it as a construction tool, one brick at a time, one investment at a time, one passive income at a time. This is the beginning of your freedom. When you start investing in something that pays you while you sleep, you activate one of the most important laws of finance, the law of small beginnings. You might look at the first earnings and think it's little. You might think it's not worth it. That is, but that's how it is in the beginning. Every great process starts invisible. What matters isn't the amount that drops into your account, but what happens inside your mind. You begin to understand there's a financial world operating 24 hours a day. And now, you're part of it. You stop being just someone who spends and become someone who builds. And this type of investment creates something few people have: strategic patience. While most want everything fast, you begin to see the power of time. You understand that money grows slowly, but it grows. And when you combine patience with consistency, the result is inevitable. Another important thing is that investing in something simple gives you confidence to advance. It's like learning to swim, starting in the shallow part of the pool. After a few days, you already feel like going a little deeper. And that's exactly what happens. You start with treasury, real estate funds, simple stocks, and when you realize it, you're studying, understanding, evolving. And here's a powerful detail: passive income changes your emotions. It reduces fear. It reduces insecurity. It reduces the desperation of depending 100% on work. When you know there's something, even small, growing in your favor, your mind becomes calmer. And a calm mind makes better decisions. In 2 months, you won't have a gigantic wealth, but you'll have the key almost no one finds: the feeling that your money finally started working for you. This gradually pulls you out of the rat race. This puts you on the right path. If you want to transform your salary and change your life in just 2 months, the first rule is simple: control where each dollar is going. Most people lose money on small purchases that seem harmless, but that, added up, silently devour their salary. When you start looking for where your $50, $100, or even $300 are escaping every month, you'll realize the problem isn't how much you earn, it's how much you let escape without noticing. And when you recover these lost dollars, you can direct them to something that really makes your life grow: investments, a reserve, a business, financial education. Little money becomes a lot when you know exactly where it should go. This step is the turning of the key, understanding that each dollar can work for you or against you, and you decide this every day. There's no true financial change without a defined destination. If you don't know exactly what you want to achieve, your money will never know where to go. That's why, in this step, you'll choose a simple, direct objective that's possible to achieve in 60 days. It can be save $500 in reserve, invest your first $200, pay off a small debt of $300, save 10% of your salary for the first time. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is that it's crystal clear in your mind. When you put a real goal before your eyes, your behavior changes. Temptations decrease, impulse spending drops, and each dollar begins to gain purpose. In the coming weeks, all your energy will organize like a magnet around this goal. You'll see progress dollar by dollar until you realize that for the first time you're in control, and not the other way around. Here you'll learn something that truly changes lives. From today on, no dollar that enters your account stays loose, without destination, without purpose. Each dollar begins to have a mission. When you receive your salary, you no longer think like this. Oh, money's left over. Let's see what I spend it on. You start thinking, this dollar goes to my reserve. This dollar goes to investment. This dollar covers my essential expenses. This dollar builds my future. Oui, this is what rich people do. This is what those escaping the rat race need to learn. The rule is simple, but powerful. Money without function becomes lost money. Money with function becomes construction, becomes growth, becomes freedom. With this change, you begin to live strategically. You stop putting out fires and start building, step by step, a solid life. And the best part, the more you do this, the more natural it becomes. You start seeing your money multiply in the next 60 days because finally it's being guided, not wasted. Now comes a point that separates those who talk about change from those who really change. You're going to create something simple but transformative. A small personal fund called the Future Fund. It's not for emergencies. It's not for monthly bills. It's not for debts. This fund exists to build the life you want to live 1, 5, or 10 years from now. And you feed this fund with small but constant amounts. You can start with $1 a day, $10 a week, $20, whenever you receive your salary. The amount doesn't matter. The habit matters. Because this fund will show you something no one taught you. Wealth isn't born from great strokes of luck, but from small deposits made with discipline. Over time, you begin to see numbers you've never seen before. And you realize that little by little, you're building a version of yourself that thinks big, acts big, and grows every day. This is the step that scares those trapped in the rat race the most. Because here, you start living like someone who no longer accepts just surviving, only prospering. Now that you've made it this far, you need to understand one thing. Nothing will change if you watch this video and go back to the same routine as always. Transformation begins when you decide to apply, even if it's just one step, still today. You're not trapped in the rat race because you want to. You're trapped because no one showed you a clear, simple, and applicable path. Now you have it. Now it's in your hands. And if you really want to turn this key, make your salary work for you, and see your life change in the next 60 days, then you need to show this to yourself. And to me too. Like this video now and comment, I'm going to turn the key. That way I'll know you're not just someone who watches, but someone who decides. And if you want to keep receiving videos that will teach you step by step to build income, freedom, and a financial life that makes sense, subscribe to the channel. Your turnaround starts here, and I'll walk with you until it happens.